All right, in this video, we're going to learn about Module 7, Lesson 1, which is multiplication properties of exponents. This is the warm-up that we did today, so you're due now. Please make sure that you've answered all 4 questions. Essentially, what you're doing is you are just simplifying these numbers. So you're raising 3 to the power of 6 and typing in the number in Canvas to get your answer. All right, Module 7, Lesson 1. This is multiplication properties of exponents. This is benchmark NSO 1.2. So we're going to generate equivalent algebraic expressions using properties of exponents. And laws of exponents are the rules or properties that tell us how to operate with exponents. Now, if you did the intro to Module 7, this is going to reiterate but break it down specifically and applying it. So product of powers is to multiply two powers that have the same base where we add the exponents together. So if we have a to the power of m times a to the power of n, what we would have is a to the power of m plus n. So we are adding the exponents together in this situation. So let's look at an example. We have 3x to the power of 4 times 4x to the power of 7. What we're going to do is we're going to first group the coefficients. So 3 times 4. And then we're going to group the variables together, x to the power of 4 and x to the 7th. So 3 times 4, we can simplify the coefficients to be 12. Then we're going to add the exponents together. So x to the power of 4 plus 7. And 4 plus 7 is going to be x to the power 11th. So we have 12x to the 11th power. So we're going to do this one more time. We're going to simplify this equation here. We have 7x y to the power of 2 multiplied by 2 times x to the power of 4 times y to the power of 3. So I always recommend that we break these factors apart so that we can group the same types of terms. So 7 times 2, those are our coefficients. X times x to the power of 4. And then y to the power of 2 times y to the power of 3. Now we're going to simplify the coefficients. 7 times 2, well, that's just 14. X times x to the 4th, this is where a lot of students get confused because we have to remember that x is actually brought to the power of 1. So 1 plus 4 is 5. And then we have y to the power of 2 plus 3, which is also 5. So our simplified answer here is 14 times x to the power of 5 times y to the power of 5. All right. So you will do checks 1 and 2 on your own. They are an assignment in my Canvas. So go ahead and try those, see if you have them correct. And now we're going to learn about power of a power rule. So to find the power of a power, we're going to now multiply the exponents together. So a to the power of m times n, all brought to the power of n, would be like having m times n. So we have y to the power of 5, and that's in parentheses brought to the power of 4. So this is a power brought to a power. So that's the same thing as having y to the power of 5 4 times. So what I want you to know is that if I have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, that's the same thing as having 5 times 4, which is why we can multiply when we have our power to our power rule. So whenever we have a power to a power, we multiply the exponents. Whenever we have the product of powers, which we had on the previous examples, that's when we add the exponents. So 5y to the power of 5, all brought to the power of 4, is y to the power of 20. Okay, our next example, we have negative exponents, but that does not change the rule. So x to the power of negative 4, and that's all brought to the power of negative 3. Well, negative 4 times negative 3 is going to be a positive 12, because remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. Checks 3 and 4 you will try on your own. And now we're going to move to our power of products. So to find a power of a product, all we're really doing is we're finding the power of each factor. And then we're going to simplify it. So here we have AB to the power of m. So we're going to distribute the m to each term in the parentheses. each factor in the parentheses. So let's do an example. So we have negative 5 x to the power of 2 times y, and that's in parentheses brought to the power of 3. So we're going to distribute that 3 to each factor inside the parentheses. So we're going to have negative 5 to the third power, x squared to the third power, and then y to the third power. Then we're going to simplify. So negative 5 to the power of 3 is going to be negative 125. X squared to the power of 3 is going to be x to the power of 6. And then y to the power of 3 is y to the power of 3. Okay, one more example here. We're again going to distribute the exponent to each factor. So 3 to the power of 5, x to the power of 5 to the power of 5, y to the power of 2 to the power of 5. And now we have to simplify. So these exponents we're going to multiply together. And then here we're going to do 3 to the power of 5. If you don't know how to do that in the calculator, if you have the TI-30XA calculator, what you would do is you would type in 3, and then you use the Y to the X button above the division symbol, and then hit 5, and that should give you 243. Then you have X to the power of 25 and Y to the power of 10. And that is simplified. There's nothing else you can do with that. Okay, checks 5 and 6 you will try on your own and type your answers into Canvas. And then finally, we have applying the product property. So if the side of each smaller square is x inches and the side of the whole canvas is s inches, okay, so this small square, the side is x, and then the large x of this large canvas is going, the side of that square is s. Then what is the area of the painting in terms of x? So how many x's are on one side? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so one side is equal to 5 x's. So the area could be represented by, normally we would do side times side to find the area of a square, but now we're going to represent that using our x variable. So one side is equal to 5 x's. So we're going to plug in that value of 5x. So the area is equal to 5x squared. Okay. So we're going to use the power of product property. So we're going to square the 5 and we're going to square the x and then simplify. So the area of this painting in terms of x is 25x squared. All right, that is it for the notes. Make sure that you go back into your Canvas and complete the 7.1 checks, the 7.1 practice. If you finish both of those, then you can work on Alex. Just know that you have to do 40 minutes and actually 15 topics this year in order to complete the assignment. Have a great day. See you tomorrow in class.